have any anti-Semitic beliefs?
Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin around cycle of questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
What up, though? You know what's happening. Conscious by Nature, we back at it. I'm the champ. That's the genius. God bless the scholar. We in studio with a very special guest. Sister Lou.
Hey, everybody. SISTALU. And the LU stands for Live Unapologetic.
Facts.
Oh, we're going to need you on this next one. As a matter of fact, this is our first return guest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Very blessed to be here.
She was our last guest of season 1, right?
Season 1, yeah.
For sure. All right, so, you know, you want to kick it off?
Let's get right into it, man. We talking Kyrie Irving, okay? And man, that brother's been having some serious heat on his ass.
I went on the Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what? Let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh. So went in the search bar, typed in Yahweh. That came up. Went out and shared it on my platform. That was my night. In terms of the backlash or what people call it, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody. And I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions, and my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people. Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not. So the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations, and it's a big no-no. I don't live my way like that. I don't live my life that way. Excuse me. I grew up in a melting pot, and I say a melting pot of all races: white, black, red, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their agenda. I don't want to say they, because I'm not identifying any one group or race of people, but I'm in a unique position to have a level of influence on my community. And what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact.
He just shared something that was already available on Amazon's platform. So, you know, what are we really talking about here?
Damn it, you got to explain to me why Kyrie Irving is on the front lines if this documentary is this anti-Semitic. Why is Kyrie Irving on the front line and not Jeff Bezos and Amazon? Kyrie Irving's not going to make a dime off of this documentary. Kyrie Irving didn't put the documentary together. He didn't put it on Amazon. And so this whole outrage over Kyrie Irving seems completely dishonest to me. Because if this documentary is as negative and as harmful as they're arguing, why wouldn't you take it up with Jeff Bezos and Amazon? That's who platformed it. That's who's profiting from it. He retweeted the graphic image that was probably taken from Amazon and Jeff Bezos' corporation.
We're all beating up Kyrie Irving, but they sell it on Amazon. Okay. He's not selling it.
He doesn't make a dime of money off
At all.
Right?
He just said, hey, this look kind of cool here, you know, just like his shoes, just like him on the Riviera or whatever people post.
Well, I mean,
Speaking of his shoes,
Nike decided to go ahead and suspend him.
Ouch.
For a little bit, you know. And, you know, you're seeing the suspensions coming down. The NBA decided to suspend him for 5 games.
Because he refuses to apologize for posting a link to a movie. I don't.
And they wouldn't have changed anything if he did apologize.
You know what is really getting to me is everyone has a right to their own beliefs. Even if my beliefs contradict your beliefs, I still have a right to my beliefs. Here in 2022, you're telling me that a grown man, 40 years old, I can believe that I'm a chair.
Yes.
Bam, right? I can believe I'm a chair right now, right? So why can't I have beliefs of my history? They will have me believe that my history started from slavery. But I want to be able to trace some lineage, just like the Asian community, just like the Arabic community, just like the European community. I really want to know where I come from. Is that too much to ask?
I don't think so.
Like, let's be honest here. He's not posting anything anti-Semitic. He's posting something pro-black. So if I'm posting something pro-black, how could you be offended? Why are you offended? This has nothing to do with you. This is literally comparable to me going outside and saying the sky is blue, right? And the sky is blue, right? And you being offended and saying you don't like the fact that I said the sky is blue. Because this is true?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, what's happening now is he has a large platform, right? So a person like me and you can share that, and that's not going to get the hits, right? He shares it. Whoa, there's some truth up in that thing. We don't need millions of people opening up that book or watching that movie. That's what it really is. Like, there's some truths in that we don't want our everyday regular black folk to know about. We don't want them to know about your history.
Where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with this missing any other race or group of people. I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create, and it was something I shared, and I'm telling everybody I'm taking responsibility, then that's where I sit. These same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing.
Our culture will turn and tuck tail. It is amazing to me. And we will write off our people who try to spread knowledge and true power to the community as crazy. We'll write off a Kanye. We'll write off a Kyrie Irving who has done nothing but stand on his own. Look at him last year refusing to take the vaccination. This is a man that is not afraid to stand on his own. He has nothing to gain from this. No monetary gain can be had from him posting this link in this video and putting you onto this knowledge, except putting you on the knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, well, the problem that I have, and you talked about a little bit, is the buck breaking that's happening, right? So when you got a cat like Kyrie speaking truths, right, then you got to get the big, strong buck. And you got to whip his ass in front of everybody. So the other bucks be like, oh, shit, I ain't going to do that shit. Shaq, Charles Barkley, Shannon Sharp, Stephen A. Smith, they all came out there. It was like,
I can't believe that we ain't talking about we're talking about this idiot.
You know, the game that we used to love and we promote, it brings people together. And it hurts me sometimes when we have to sit up here to talk about stuff that divides the game. Now we got to answer for what this idiot has done.
now come on now. Stand up for your people. Stand up for yourself. But they can't do that. They millions and millions of dollars deep. They don't want to lose their money. They don't want to lose their end. So I'll just go ahead and tuck my nuts and tell the world, that nigga's bad. He ain't good. Don't listen to him. He's stupid.
When black people like me talk to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. And he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master, in the attic or the basement. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes.
You know, what killed me, LBJ had the goddamn press conference last night. And I'm a Laker fan, and we fucking suck, and I don't miss many games because I'm a sports dude. And I'm watching the press conference, and of course I know that I ain't know they was going to ask him about Kyrie, but they brought it up, and he said go ahead and ask him a question. So they asked him a question, man. And it wasn't so much how much he was, it was really just how he answered the question.
Yeah, I can tell you this, it's simple. Me personally, I don't condone any hate to any kind, to any race, to Jewish communities, to black communities, to Asian communities. You guys know where I stand, and it's part of the reason why I didn't air the Shop episode, why we kicked that, out of the archives, because it was hate conversation going on there, and I don't represent that. There's no place in this world for it. Nobody can benefit from that, and I believe what Kyrie did caused some harm to a lot of people, and he has since over the last, I think today or was it yesterday, he apologized, but he caused some harm, and I think it's unfortunate, but I don't stand on the position to harm people when it comes to your voice or your platform or anything. And so it doesn't matter what color your skin is, how tall you are, what position you are in. If you are promoting or soliciting or saying harmful things to any community that harm people, then I don't respect it. I don't condone it.
Considering you do identify that his actions as being harmful to people, what do you believe could be a resolution for him to get past the current suspensions that he has with the Nets and Nike?
I don't know. Because at the end of the day, Kyrie is his own man. He stands up in front of the media and speaks. He is a man. He has a great family. I mean, I love the kid. Well, he's not even a kid anymore. He's 30. He just said that the other day in his presser. I was like, it's insane. I don't know the direction, the steps that he take, but he's apologized for what he said. And I hope that he understands that what he said was harmful to a lot of people. And we as humans, none of us are perfect, but I hope he understands how, what he did or the actions that he took was just harmful to a lot of people. I really didn't get into it too much, but I understand that when you hurting anybody, I understand that. That is just common sense.
He went on to elaborate on how Kyrie hurt people. But then he went on to go and talk about his little barbershop shit and how they had to strike his show from the archives because he had so much hate speech. You know what I mean? Wow. It's hard for me, for a guy like me, to think that Kyrie Irving, who's well educated, he's well educated. Kyrie Irving is not a hood kid. He grew up in a well home. His parents were, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wealthy. He went to Duke University. Stop playing with me. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? The type of kid Kyrie Irving is and how he grew up. So stop trying to make it out like he's some type of thug or hood thuggery. He's none of those things. What he doing is putting knowledge out here, and they trying to spin it on this young man. And I don't understand. Well, I do understand. Because you said it is plain. I don't want to lose my money.
LeBron James was given $1 billion by Nike, the establishment, the anti-human, neoliberal, Marxist, globalist establishment, which is also Church of LGBTQ, he was given this $1 billion to keep his mouth shut about the single greatest humanitarian crisis of our generation. And that is the 2 million people being placed in the concentration camps in China for no other crime than being Muslim. Now, he won't speak on that. Why? Number one, it's an economic injustice that he's done to take that payoff to shut his mouth, because really he should have asked Nike for $40 billion.
Of course.
He should have got at least $500 million a year, if not $1 billion a year, because Nike makes $40 billion of revenue a year, and he represents at least 1/40 of their commercial value and influence.
I agree. 100%.
But he took the billion because when you're a radical materialist and you come from Akron, Ohio, like I come from Minneapolis, or you come from one of these other black communities, you measure your success based on what other black people have. And because other black people don't have $1 billion, he feels that the $1 billion he got is an accomplishment that he can hold over y'all and say, look at me.
Right.
I'm successful. But it came with a quid pro quo. And the quid pro quo is you are the new head house Negro. Sine qua non black bourgeoisie sellouts, the black bourgeoisie. They are the go-between to the black community. They're the ones that are going to negotiate the terms of our social contract with the establishment from now until whenever.
I literally watched LeBron James have a chance to back his little brother and literally threw him to the wolves, and then told at the end of the interview, ended it with, he would do anything for this community and this culture. And he had the opportunity 4 minutes prior, and he motherfucking shit all over us.
While wearing a Jackie Robinson hat.